in our channel. Today I'm going to talk about my Medusa headpiece and my Medusa dress that I made for Halloween last year. I'm going to start off with the headpiece. This is a part 2 to our first tutorial that we made. Just a couple of extra things that I wanted to let everybody know was whenever you start your headpiece, your first thing you always want to do is get a piece of the plastic that you're going to use and wrap it around your head to know the size of your head. So once you get that, you want to glue it, and that's going to be your base of your headpiece. Then you're going to, once you do the other snakes, you're going to weave and intertwine them, and then they're going to be coming out, you know, and shaped with the heat gun, like our first tutorial had said. So another thing that I wanted to let everybody know was an extra effect that we built on was little LED lights that we used that, as you can tell here, that I inserted into like the mouths of the snakes, so at nighttime they would glow, and it gave it a better effect. So now I'm going to talk about the dress and kind of give you a few tips on how you can make a dress or a costume cheap and yet still look like it's expensive. So first of all, you don't have to be a seamstress to do your own costume. You know, it's all about the imagination and what you can use to make it look good for a good price. So first of all, I would start off with the top and how I did my top of the dress. I'm going to show you here. I actually took an old shirt, and here you can kind of see one of the shirts that I took, and in the back it has kind of like a built-in bra. So this is something that you could always do to kind of get you started. And what I did was I took the brown material, I cut this off, got the brown material over, and then I just kind of wrapped it around just kind of like this and made the base of the top, as you can kind of see here first. Then I got, this was another piece of dress. Actually, I had two dresses that I found at a flea market that was pretty cheap. I think it was like maybe $5 a dress. And so what I did was, it had shoulders, and I didn't want, so what I did was I sewed them together. I sewed this on top of that to give it the effect, and then I cut it around, and then I just kind of sewed those pieces in so that way it looked like this and you didn't have the shoulders. Then you can kind of see, I'm going to twist this back around a little bit, and once you get down to here, you can see the dress was just a short dress, and what I did was I flipped the second dress upside down, and I sewed the two dresses together, so it gave me a long skinny dress that I needed. Then what I did was I took leather piece, which you can get just like this in any fabric store, and then what I did was I cut the shape to make it look like the belly of the snake, and made kind of ridges to go around, and then we painted the stomach lines to make it look like the snake belly, and painted a few effects and kind of did some fading effects so that way it would look a little more realistic there. Then I kind of had a little bit trouble on the bottom of the tail of how the effect I wanted to show. So what I decided to do, and it ended up working out a lot better, was I took a second piece of material, and what I did was when I went to the fabric store, I kind of took it to kind of match up the pattern that I had on the top. Now, when you do go look for snake material, you're going to have several different styles and textures. So, you know, do take a piece of material or even a color sample with you so you know what colors and snakeskin pattern you want to use. So as you can tell, the snake tail of it, what I ended up doing was taking the material and making it kind of in half, and then I sewed one in and made like a long tube. Once I got the long tube going, I filled it in with cotton and sponge, you know, anything to make it fluffy. But be careful, don't stuff it in with like other material or something that's very heavy, because then you're just going to have a very heavy dress and you're going to have to walk around with that. So make it as light as possible, but something that will fluff it out, like cotton or sponge or something like that. No one's going to see it. Again, get something that's cheap. Now what I did was you know, you want to make sure wherever you start your tail at, which I started in the back, you can tell that you start in the back and you want to wrap it around so that way nobody can see where you started your tail at. So when you wrap it around, it'll look like the effect that you have, you know, your slim waist and then your tail going around. Now what I did do, as you're, you know, walking around, sometimes you can pin it with safety pins around, and even the tail, I had it like pinned up here to the hip, so that way it gave it more of an effect that it was wrapping around my body. And you can actually wear it two different ways. You can wear it where, like this, how I have it here, it's more of a slim effect to it. Or what I did was I had an old petticoat or underneath like the wedding dresses and so forth, prom dresses, which, hey, always go to a thrift store, you could always find some there. And then what I did was I put it underneath the dress, and since the dress itself is very stretchy, it puffed it out really nice, almost like a bell. So the snake tail actually wrapped around maybe twice around the rim, and then around my back, and then up to the hip is where I had it there. So that way it would give it a better effect, like the tail is being wrapped around. So, you know, sometimes you may have to, when you're making a dress, is sketch it out, get the idea of how you want it to look on you. Everybody's a little bit different. People are shorter, people are taller, and kind of get an idea of how you want it. And then, you know, then kind of use the material, use the tail, and, you know, put it where you want it to lay for it looks nice on you. And then the last thing was, whenever I put this together, you know, I kind of gave it a little bit of effect here with the same material, so that way it looked like it was a full dress. That's how it was made. And then the leather material that I put on here made it look like more of that age era. And then I also put it on the tail end here. And then, if you can hear, I even put a little rattle in there. But you can shape it like, you know, like the actual scorpion tail type in there. So that way it gives it a nicer effect there. And the leather makes it look, you know, it breaks up the colors, the contrast of the different materials, but it all blends really nice together. So, and so the very last is, you know, look at our other tutorials of how we made our bow, my bow and arrow, my headpiece, and then, you know, the last was, you know, I also got these little arm bands that I had put on just for the same, you know, effect for, you know, since she was an archer, and had the bow and arrow on there. And you can always get these at some, you know, party stores also. They'll have those around. And I think, you know, thank you so much for watching our channel. Do continue to watch our other tutorials, and please, you know, post that you like our channel, subscribe, and we greatly appreciate it. Until next time.